they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us names. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's Monday, February 24th, 2025, and welcome to episode 827 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee is strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter-free. I'm Brian, your host, and today I am enjoying a Brian's blend from foodforestfarms.com. Not my blend. Brian over at foodforestfarms.com worked long and hard and developed that Brian's blend as one of his signature roasts. So go head over to foodforestfarms.com where you can get 10% off with discount code LOTS10. Shipping is always free. And while you're there, check out the C4 Club, the C4 Monthly Coffee Club, where you get coffee delivered straight to your door every month. 100% wonderful customer service. And let's see, today we're going to be talking about that wood that Candi promised me. Did she come through? Did she give me the wood? And how was that wood that Candi gave me? Riding out the cold snap that we had last week, we'll talk about how that went and if we had any issues or how things went along smoothly, you know, because they always go so smooth. Corey went with me to do laundry this week. She took Friday off. We spent the day together, and then we went and did laundry on the weekend. On Saturday, we did laundry, groceries, and all of that. And we weren't sure if we wanted to go on the weekend or how that would be. I'll let you know how that turned out and a little bit more. Let's head on over into the live chat, see who's hanging out, and we'll get rolling for the day. Good morning, John Palmer. Good morning, good day, and good week to you, sir. Thanks for stopping in. Rewilder Life, yay, it is Monday. It is Monday here for the show on Monday morning, getting rolling with the week. Good morning, Canadian Farmstead. How are you? Thanks for stopping in. Congratulations on the Four Country Cup. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. I didn't watch any of the games. All I did was saw all the bullshit on the socials about Canada and the U.S. hockey games. So congratulations. I guess you won in overtime or something. Mike's Homestead, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you. Hunter, good morning over on Twitch. Thanks for being my Twitch guy. Keep an eye out for any spammers over there if you would. Rewilder Lives has moved on to herbal tea. Coffee's gone already this morning. I have switched up my monthly coffee order, and it now includes decaf. And I don't know if that's just going to be for the winter or if it will be all year round, but decaf is pretty good. Food Forest Farms used a Swiss water decaf method. I got some to test it out, to do some ads, reviews for it, and it's fantastic. It's different than the chemical decaffeinization process. Basically, it gets soaked in water, the caffeine gets extracted, and it's an more all natural process, and you're not getting the chemicals in your decaf coffee. And he's transitioning currently into a mountain water decaf, which is a similar process, but supposed to be better. Supposed to be more, keep more of the coffee flavor, which I don't know how that could be a thing, because the Swiss water decaf was, it tasted, I don't know if I made a cup of the Swiss water decaf, which was Colombian light roast. I don't know if I could have told the difference between a Colombian full cap and the Colombian decaf. It was, just that good. It's just that good. So check out Food Forest Farms if you're looking for some decaf coffee. I had some in the afternoon on these cold days for sure. It was nice to be able to have a cup later in the day and then still be able to get to sleep. And I'm also trying to roll back my coffee or my caffeine intake without losing the benefit of how much I enjoy the coffee in the morning. And that's the thing that's transitioned in my life quite a bit is I used to drink coffee to stay awake. Now I drink it because I enjoy the taste of it and I enjoy drinking it. So losing that extra cup was less staying awake and being more wired than it was. I enjoy the warm cup of coffee. So Rewilder Life says, yeah, the regular decaf is nasty. Yeah, some of the chemicals that they use to extract the coffee or the caffeine aren't the best for you. There's been studies, just like everything else, coffee's good for you, coffee's bad for you, it's good for you, it's bad for you. But I can't remember the methyl chloride, maybe. It's not in my head right at the moment, but the chemical they use is not the best stuff in the world. So Swiss water decaf, mountain water decaf, not necessarily just from Food Forest Farms, but if you find it anywhere, it is way better for you and tastes better. So Canadian Farm says the bullshit was fun. Yeah. So that from what I understand, the 4-country hockey tournament, they had the US, Canada, and then Sweden and Finland, I think. Didn't really matter. But it was in replacement of the NHL All-Star game, I think. I don't know. Like I don't follow the NHL anymore. But all of a sudden all this shit started popping up on my screen about Canadians booing the American national anthem, and then they played a game and America beat them up, and then they got matched up again in the finals and Canada won in overtime. So I don't know. It's I think it replaced the All-Star game for the NHL, which I guess they got people talking about it. So Canadian Farm says, I thought the tournament was going to be more of a gimmick, but the hockey was great. And I mean, of course you're going to say that. You won. Oh, all right, guys. It's it might be above freezing right now. It's coming above freezing this morning. And I don't think it goes back down in the 10-day forecast. I don't think it goes below freezing again. We had another cold snap last week. I believe Nicole Sauce, who's down here living free in Tennessee, says that holy shit, 70 tomorrow. 75 on Wednesday. Whew. Yeah, it's currently 25. We're supposed to get up 61 today, and we don't see below freezing in the 10-day forecast. So that's good. That's good. But she refers to last week as second winter, I believe. I think there's also the possibility of third and fourth winters every week. Or every year. So I don't know if we're out of the woods yet, but last week we had a pretty decent cold snap. It wasn't as bad as the first one, but we did get the ice, snow, rain, ice, snow, freezing mix before it got cold for, I would think it was 2.5 days that it went below freezing and didn't come back up. And I know Canadian Farmstead in Canada, Rewilder Life in Michigan, you guys get it. You're like, oh, it was below freezing. Oh, poor you. We're not set up for that here. When we get that precipitation, and especially when it started as rain for a few hours and then transition to ice, sleet, and then a couple inches of snow, as the temperature drops off and goes below freezing, we don't have the mechanisms to get that off the road. They did a decent job this time, and I think we got lucky because we had sun the second day, or the first day after it got cold. They did a decent job treating the main roads, and decent, I mean, they dropped down some pavement treatment that took care of that ice, kept the snow from accumulating, and then it was okay for the next few days. They did cancel school for 2 days, 3 days or whatever for the rest of the week. They were just like, yep, nope, can't do it. That's because the back roads, they get the snow and the ice on them, and with all the hills around here, once they're ice, you could pretty much get to a place where you just can't go any further. Plenty of videos and reports in the local Facebook groups of, I was going down this road and I went to go up this hill and it just stopped. I just stopped. I couldn't drive any further. and that can go on until the temperature comes above freezing, and sometimes well above freezing, because a lot of these back roads are very well shaded. They don't get the sun to help up warm up that pavement. So depending on how thick the ice is, how thick the snow is, it can be really a few days before it warms up enough for it to melt away. Throughout their life, so they're hitting 40 today. She's gonna be in flip flops. And Canadian Farm says we are having above freezing during the day all week this week. Might be time to tap some trees soon. I guess it is the last week of February. Hey, it's getting there. What you were south? Canadian Farm said south of. Do you guys go by the? Do you happen to go by the USDA zones? I know that's a US thing. I'm not naive to the fact that the USDA does not exist in Canada. It's the USDA. But do you reference that climate chart, climate grow zone chart, hardiness zone? That's what it is, hardiness zone. Is that something that you can reference in Ontario? Because we were like a 3B, I think. 3B when we were in Minnesota. Canadian Farm says, I think our zone 5 is your zone 4. Wilder Life says, I need to find my supplies. Surprise. He thinks that their zone 5 is our zone 4, and that would make sense with the exchange rate. If you round off, our zone 4 would be equivalent to a zone 4.6 in Canada, so that'd be 5 if you round up. So that makes sense. So you would be the equivalent of a 4-ish 5 in the US. So you're getting there. You're getting close. I remember, I think we were. Other life says supplies are the tree taps. I thought you misspelled supplies. Whoops. I've never done tree tapping. Never done syrup collection. Never done anything like that. I might be pronouncing that wrong too, but SPILES are the tree taps. You learn something new every day, and so do I guess. Anyway, so the cold snap last week, I had to. We were running really low on firewood. We had a shit ton of rain, and the road back to Delinquent's Gully property, where I was harvesting deadfall that was super dry. It wasn't rotted out at all. It was burning very well, nice and hot, and we used it for quite a bit this winter. I had to source some wood over the winter. I sourced some from a gentleman that had a bunch for free. That was going to be my saving grace if none of this worked out that I'm going to talk about in a second. But I couldn't get back to the property to grab more deadfall before the cold snap, and it was supposed to get cold for here, and especially being in a camper. We were supposed to see possible single digits overnight, definitely low double digits, so low low teens. 10 was in the forecast, and then for a couple days we weren't supposed to get above freezing, low to mid 20s, and so we needed some dry, hot burning wood to keep us warm, because we don't use, that's our only source of heat. Besides, Corey has a small electric space heater in the back of the camper, but it wouldn't be enough to keep us warm, all of us. Maybe if we locked down in that room, the dogs and Corey and I, and hunkered down and had a cuddle puddle back there for a while. But it doesn't put off a ton of heat. So the tiny wood stove was a necessity with temperatures going to be like that. Looking at our wood pile, the shitty wood that I stupidly bought, burned through all the good stuff that was there, all the salvageable stuff that they disguised the pile with. And so I started shopping on Facebook again. I talked about it last week. I found some girl named Candi, yes, with an I, Candi with an I, giving wood out on Facebook. No, selling wood on Facebook. And Corey felt that I was pursuing other things. Anyway, I set up with Candi to get firewood. We were supposed to have our cold drop come in on Wednesday. Tuesday night overnight was when it was supposed to rain, sleet, snow, and then drop off. And Wednesday was supposed to be cold. Thursday was supposed to be cold. Friday was supposed to start warm up just a little bit. I got in touch with Candi over the weekend and finalized delivery for a rick of wood on Monday. It was a decent price. It was going to be delivered to our place. They were in Savannah, so they were 20-30 minutes away. I was like, all right, I don't trust Facebook Marketplace anymore after my last few interactions on there, especially here in Tennessee. And so I wanted a backup plan. So I started chatting with some other dude that sold wood on Facebook and had him lined up. And I was like, I was going to play both sides of the coin and see who could deliver it first. They were both similar in price. They were both going to deliver, and I had Candi set up for Monday mid morning. I think was when we first settled on a time. And so the other guy was like, "Yeah, I can't do it till Wednesday." And I was like, "Okay, well, this is all right. I'll book him for Wednesday." And as I looked at the calendar, I was like, well, I don't know if he's going to be even able to get here on Wednesday because it's going to be all ice. And he was probably half hour, 45 minutes away on good roads. And hey, good morning, Pip. Pip says, Candi, you used a Y, sir. It was Candi. Thank you. And so I set up an appointment with the one dude for Wednesday morning. And Candi was supposed to come on Monday. Monday came, and I waited and I waited, and I sent her a message. I was like, "Hey, excuse me." I said, "Any idea when you're gonna show up here? I can't wait around all day." I mean, I could. I was doing shit. Good morning. Pip says, "Just woke up. My bad." Yeah, you need to get some. I could have waited around all day. I had stuff to do here, but it was just this assumption that I'll just show up anytime I want. Good morning, Chris Dixon says it's less creepy with a Y. The assumption that I was just going to be here whenever they wanted to show up. And so the day goes on, and it got to late afternoon. We were getting ready to take the dogs for a walk, and I sent her a message. I was like, "Hey, so what's the deal? Are you gonna come today? When you say you're going to bring me firewood, and the firewood keeps me warm, I kind of need you to show up to deliver that shit." And she doesn't write back for a while, and I was like, well, at least I got this guy coming on Wednesday. And she finally writes back, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, it's getting cold. We got really busy." And wanted to be like, that's why I talked to you this weekend. That's why I set this up, because I didn't want to try to get a hold of you on Monday, and I guess I got put to the back of that line. She's like, "I promise we'll be there tomorrow." And I'm like, yeah, okay. All right. Well, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, well, I'm going to get a delivery from this guy on Wednesday. So Monday night, Tuesday, I wake up and I send Candi a message early. I said, hey, any idea what time you're going to be showing up today? I have an appointment at 3:30 that I'd like to make it to. So if you can be here before that, and it wasn't I had to make it to it. It was an interview I had to do, and I didn't want her showing up in the middle of the interview and just shit go sideways because Corey would have still been working. And she wrote back and she's like, yeah, we'll be there between 2 and 3. Like, all right, well, that'll work. I can get that done. Day went on, 2 o'clock showed up, 2:30 showed up, 3 o'clock showed up. No Candi. I contemplated postponing my interview. It was a follow-up interview. It really wasn't. It was a follow-up with a gentleman that their episode comes out this week, and we wanted to follow up, talk about some stuff. So I didn't cancel that, but I let him know, hey, I might have to jet if this bitch rolls in when we're talking. And nope, didn't show up. We walk the dogs. We get done for the evening. It's like 5 o'clock. I'm like, are you going to show up today? And I'm confirming with the guy that's going to be here on Wednesday. And I'm like, dude, it's supposed to be icy. It's supposed to be this, that. I said, if you don't show up on Wednesday, I'm going to be out of wood and I'm going to be cold. I'm going to be fucking pissed. And I'm probably going to try to find you. I left that last part out until he didn't show up. But Candi finally writes me back. She's like, sorry, we had problems with our starter in our truck. And I'm like, why don't you just not write me back? If you're gonna be like this and excuse after excuse for the last 2 days, why don't you just not write me back? Or tell me that like, what purpose does it serve you to string me along? It's not like you're going to string me along and then get money from me if you're not going to show up. So what's the deal here? And she says, I got we had starter problems. We're going to get the truck started and then we'll get it loaded up and then we'll come in and drop it off. And I'm like, wait, you don't even have your truck loaded yet? What's going on? And so it gets into the evening and all of a sudden I get a text from Candi on Facebook or Facebook Messenger from her. And she says, we're 5 minutes away. We'll be there soon. And I'm like, wait, what? Why do these people assume them? I'm just waiting for, I was, but why are they assuming that I'm just sitting here waiting for them? And so I'm looking at the time and it had been like 10 minutes. And Corey and I are sitting here watching a TV show. By the way, we started watching Animal Kingdom, a show from TNT from the late 2010s. Interesting show. Nothing about animals. But anyway, we're sitting there and there was a quiet point in the fucking show. And I hear this banging outside and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And so I go outside. They had rolled up in the driveway, not sent a message, not said, hey, is this your place? Just rolled up in the driveway, parked next to my truck, and started unloading the bed of wood that they had brought. And I'm like, whew, good thing they came to the right spot. Good thing the address was right. Good thing the GPS brought it. And how the fuck did you know that, or why did you know, or why did you assume that this was my place? I mean, they did. They got it right. So no harm, no foul there. But there's these two old dudes unloading the bed of this truck. They have the most beat up S10, or I don't know what it was. The thing was beat to shit. The starter problem, 100% probably accurate. 100%. I am guessing they had problems with the truck. The driver's side door didn't open. The thing was like sagging at the front corner was down, but the back was kind of crooked too. And these two old dudes I started talking to, I was like, hey, this wood's dry, right? Oh, yeah, yes, sir. Like, Real sick. They've been here a while. Let me tell you. These two dudes are unloading it. I go inside. I grab cash for them. I came back out, and I didn't even notice there was that Candi was in the truck still. So Candi looks like she's running an operation where she's got two old dudes that she's beating to living shit. Probably feeding them meth or something to keep them going. But they showed up. They showed up at like 7 o'clock at night. Wood is okay. The Candi wood, the wood that Candi provided me. It got us through. Let's say it got us through. It is it's a lot. Our stove is very, very picky on the wood it burns, and that's because there isn't a huge coal bed or anything. But this stuff, once it's going, once it's burning, it burns pretty well. Pain in the ass to get it going. But they did. They dropped it off. They were stacking it all, and eventually I was like, dude, you don't need to stack it. It was starting to rain. It was starting to sleet, and the weather was supposed to get pretty shitty. I was like, just toss the rest over there in a pile. I'll figure it out. But the wood was decent. It was decent. It got us through. So that's that. Now we're on the upswing here. So the fires were currently in the forecast. The forecast currently, we'll just be using it to take a chill off in the morning, probably, and so it's not going to be that big of a deal. Canadian Farmstead says, you're saying she had an unusual method for delivering wood. I have a feeling that she was the boss, and that her friends might have gotten paid in little baggies, or at least partially in little baggies. Hunter says, Candi, Mima Candi, Granny Candi, how does that name age? Candi is not a Candi might have been a great Mima already, seeing that it happens quite frequently around here, and Candi may have started early. She may have born a child in her younger years, and her younger child might have born a child in their younger years, and it might have continued along that path for a while. Maybe, I don't know. But Candi, I saw her by the glowing dashboard lights, and when we opened the door, the cab light did not work, oddly enough. But Candi, from her profile pictures on Facebook, definitely probably slid right into the profession that her name implies. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I've helped support plenty of those young ladies in my past, so this time I just bought wood from them instead of buying wood from them. Dixon Way says Candi is a wood pimp. She probably is. I mean, and these dudes were running like an electric shovel, getting that wood out of the back of the truck. They definitely had some energy left at 8 at night or 7 at night, whatever time it was. But anyway, the wood was okay. We had some white oak, some red oak. It's definitely dry, and way drier way drier than the stuff that I got last time. So hopefully this is the last I have to deal with that, and we'll have our own reserves next year for plenty for the winter. Pip says, well, please welcome to the stage Candi Wood. Is that like Hollywood? Canadian Farm says Candi doesn't handle the wood at both her jobs. Right. She was smooth. She just sat in that truck, and I slid the money. She cracked the door open. She was huffing and puffing on cigarettes in there enough that when she opened it, a steady stream of nicotine came right in. I think I caught a little buzz off it. But Candi definitely definitely didn't handle the wood. So I came in and I sent. Whoa! What was that? So I came in. I came inside and I sent my buddy, my other guy that was supposed to come on Wednesday morning. I said, "Hey, dude, no need to, no need to, no need to show up tomorrow morning. Had a neighbor swing by and just drop a big load of wood in my driveway, and yeah, so I'm not gonna need that from you. So maybe I should have had him still show up, and I just didn't have any more cash to give him." Canadian Farms says, "Yeah, but where did you tuck the money?" I just slid it in the slot of the door, and she grabbed it. I don't know what she grabbed it with. I wasn't paying that much attention with the way it sucked out of my fingers. You never do know. Canadian. Chris Dixon says that bang, they're unloading more wood. They came back. They're just gonna unload it. They stand there and wait to get paid. I didn't want any wood. Pip says it wasn't Candi unloading more wood. It was just the wood pile that fell over. John Palmer suggesting that I put it in her slot. Yeah, she didn't take credit cards though, so cash. I'm wondering if they made a stop on the way home with the cash I gave them. They did take off out of the driveway pretty quick. They were really excited when I told them that they didn't have to stack the last quarter of a bed of truck of wood. So they had gotten through about 3/4 of the load stacking it, and I was like, "Yeah, you don't need to stack the rest of that." Oh, thank you. So the one jumped up at the truck and they're just chucking the shit in the yard and dove into the truck and took off. So I don't know if their fix was running out or what it was, but anyway. So it worked well. We made it through the cold snap. It wasn't horrible. Basically, we filled up the water, turned off the hose, and kept the fire going, and we rolled through without issue. It sucks. It's no fun. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. We're hoping that a cabin with a full-size stove and insulation and things like that will definitely change the dynamic of handling a Tennessee winter and a Tennessee summer for that matter. Canadian Farmstead says, "What kind of wood, as in WOULD, was it?" It was a mix of white and red oak, is what she gave me. Strong piece of wood there. So yeah, we made it through the cold snap. I was looking forward to tonight. The last few nights, again, we had still been down into the mid to low 20s for lows overnight, and that's our tipping point with getting up in the night to stoke the fire. Canadian Farm says it must burn nice. It burns well after it burns well after it's lit. And I don't know if that was just the glazing of precipitation we got when they were delivering it and then overnight. I don't know if it soaked in a little bit and that stove just needs to burn that to steam that water off, heat that wood up a little bit, and then once it lights, that's where I'm thinking a larger stove with a larger coal bed and larger pieces in it. Pip says Tennessee sounds like a great place to live, except for the weather and the bugs and the poisonous creatures. I don't mind the bugs. The bugs are way better than Minnesota. And I'll talk about that here in a second with the lady we met at laundry. The bugs in Tennessee, Corey and I were talking about it this weekend. I will exchange poisonous spiders and snakes for the absolute lack of mosquitoes. I can't remember a summer in the last 20 years before we took off. The 20 years I lived in Minnesota, I can't remember a year that I didn't just get devoured by mosquitoes. No matter what I did, no matter if I wore off and deep woods off and every other thing under the sun, natural bug repellent, I was always covered in mosquito bites. I get maybe one or two a year here, maybe, and they're not even bad. Like a mosquito will bite you here, and you'll start to get a little a bump, like a mosquito bite bump, and then it'll just be gone. It never itches; it just goes away. I'm okay with that. I can deal with the poisonous spiders, the couple poisonous spiders, and the snakes are what they are. But I'll take you. I'll take that over Minnesota, and just the fact I don't need to deal with the negative double digits, the negative at all, the single digits. Yeah, like fuck that. I don't need that anymore. Rue Isler Life says Yarrow is amazing. Yeah, we used to make up a Yarrow blend for different. Man, we tried so many different things, and it was just there was nothing you could do, because even if you stayed inside, when you would open the door to go in and out of the house, you almost needed like an airlock with a bug killer in it. Like you walked into the airlock and all the air blew, and then you walked through because it disoriented all the bugs, and then the door shut and it like eradicated all the mosquitoes that were coming in with you. That's kind of how I felt you needed to be in Minnesota. But the flying bugs here are not bad at all, especially compared to what I was used to. He said that the weather is fine. Chris Dixon says single digits for days is way easier than minus for months. Single digits. Now, we didn't even do single digits this year. I think our lowest overnight, did we get in the single digits overnight? Oh, that first cold snap, maybe one or two, but it was overnight. I think the lowest high we saw was in the mid 20s for the day, high 20s. Everybody's letting you know your water's ready for your tea. Canadian Farm says being able to stack some wood by the stove helps too. Yes, that's another issue we don't have with the water we have. Canadian Farm says going to plant some yarrow. I would exchange the weather here for the weather in Minnesota any day. Even those days in the summer where it's 105 degrees and 90% humidity and you sweat even when you're inside in the air conditioning, I'll exchange that for the bullshit negative. If I have to figure out again what temperature I'm feeling and where it's intersecting with the Celsius scale and the Fahrenheit scale, I don't need to fucking deal with that anymore, because that's negative 40. No, I don't need to deal with negative anything. There should be never a lack of temperature. We should never be lacking temperature where we're needing to make up temperature. Negative temperature is not okay. Rualder says you guys have them like the UP does. We don't have too bad for bugs. Yeah, the mosquitoes in Minnesota are just, it's another breed. So John Palmer says never okay. Right. I don't think you should ever have to borrow temperature. I don't think we ever made it up. But then the Minnesota bullshit was the same thing. In the summer, we would have a week or 2 weeks where it was pushing 100 and the humidity, and add in the mosquitoes and all the bullshit. So it's not like we didn't have to experience that. We didn't need to experience for the length of time we do here. But I would much rather deal with warm than cold. Chris Dixon says I'd rather have to make my own wind chill. Yeah. I don't need to experience negative ever again. All right, so Corey and I went. Corey took Friday off, and we were gonna go do normal Friday chores and run to town and all that. And I said, you know what? It's kind of the first day where people are going to be getting back out, and why don't we just hang out, have a nice day off, and then we'll go on Saturday. We can go together. I can go by myself, but let's go on Saturday and see what happens. And so we went down to go do our daily or our weekly stuff. Grocery store was pretty much empty, which was weird on a Saturday, especially after the cold snap. I figured that it would be busy, people getting out and about. It was a decent day, warming up at least. Groceries was fine, meat market was fine, and we were sitting doing laundry. And we have fun when we go to laundry. We just sit there and kind of observe people and everything. And so we were sitting, waiting for the washers to be done. We were sitting next to the big row of dryers on the wall. There were some seats there, and this old lady and her daughter, I believe it was her daughter, came over, and they were drying their clothes, and they hadn't used the washer. They walked right in the door and were using the dryer, and the old lady was putting her clothes in the dryer, and Corey bumps me, and she's like, hey, let her know that dryer is broken. And I look over, and there was a sign over the coin slot for that dryer, that one and the one below it, that it was out of order. And so I tapped the lady on the shoulder, and I said, hey, that dryer is broken. She's like, oh my God, I would have never seen that. I would have probably put my quarters in there and never saw it. And that would have been tough because the sign was actually over the slot where you put the quarters. But anyway, she took her laundry out and put it in the dryer next to it, and then she was having trouble getting the quarters to register, because the mechanisms get worn out at the laundromat, and you need to like really slam the quarters into it to get it to recognize the quarter. Otherwise, it just feeds into the quarter return. So her daughter's telling her how to do that. I'm kind of giving her a little help doing that. And so she gets her dryer started, and they went and did something. They came back and they sat down next to us, and she starts talking to Corey. And she says, well, we have a washer and dryer. But we had our laundry room redone, and the guys that did the drywall knocked the vent off the dryer, and my husband and I are both useless, and we don't know how to fix it. I'm waiting for Corey to go, oh, my husband will come over and do it for you. I was just waiting for a volunteer, but she didn't, and it turned out that she had already had that fixed. They also screwed up their water valves for their washer. They slammed them together. They couldn't get them open on or off, and I was like, man, I would have just called those people back and told them to get back over there and fix my shit. But anyway, she was there. At one point, she looks at Corey and she says, she goes, you're not from around here, are you? And Corey's like, no, we're from Minnesota. I'm from Minnesota. This and that. Says I'm from New York and Minnesota, by Minnesota way. And she goes, yeah, I could tell you didn't have that hillbilly in your voice. And I thought that was fantastic. But so she continues to talk to us. And we had a decent conversation. We sat there. They got their dryers done. They unloaded their laundry, and they're going out to the car. And then the thing that happens quite often here, they had been outside for quite a while, several minutes, like long enough to get their stuff in their car, get in the car, think about pulling out of the parking lot. So they sat in their car. I have to assume they sat in their car before this happened. Canadian Pharmacist says you're not from around here as a conversation fight starter, depending on inflection and the fact that it was like a 80-year-old woman. I don't know. Pip says they went out to the car to smoke a bowl. Probably not. Maybe, but probably not. I would assume no. And so all of a sudden the door opens and the old lady pops back in. She walks over to Corey and she goes, I know you're new around here. Have you found a church yet? And my wife, I'm very proud of her. I'm proud of her. She says, man, we don't attend church. Thanks, though. She goes, well, if you ever want to attend our church, it's right down the road here. Thank you very much. Very politely decline. And I swear that's probably I've been invited to at least half a dozen churches here in Tennessee since we've been here. And I appreciate it every time. It's an awkward thing. I don't want to offend them. I don't want to offend them. And I feel like even politely declining an offer for someone that invites you to something that personal, or maybe it isn't that personal. But I feel like even a polite declining of their offer may, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to offend anybody that's extending their hand to me like that, let's say. Canadian Pharmacist says God's trying to reach you about your extended warranty. Probably. But she says, Pip says we need more cult members. I'm pretty sure Corey and I had that conversation after she left. But anyway, she's like, it was right down the road. And so we didn't take much of it. We finished our laundry, get in the truck, and we had to go the direction she pointed to go to pick up groceries. And Corey's like, I think that's the church. That's the church that she invited us to. And I don't think it was. It might have been. But I felt like the name was a little different. And it dawned on me that, really, you can't drive 4 or 5 miles in Tennessee without coming across at least one church. Like, I really don't think you can. I'm trying to think of a stretch driving around here in pretty much any direction where I can get more than a few miles without running across at least some church. I've contemplated how there are enough people to put people in all the churches here. I know it's the Bible Belt and all, but it seems like there's more churches than people. It is what it is. But anyway, we made new friends. They said we're welcome at their church anytime we want to come. And maybe someday. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. But super nice old lady. The laundromat has actually been one of my hotbeds for being invited to attend service. Then it is what it is. I got a Bible. I actually got a Bible. I actually got a Bible at the laundromat, but I left it for someone else that needed it more than me. But maybe I need it more than them, but not at the moment. Chris Dixon says you don't have to worship to enjoy fellowship. Just saying. Oh, I get that. The problem is the incessant need to persuade you to worship, to enjoy fellowship. Once you're in the building, my experience is there's only one end goal. It isn't, and I have to say that I have attended Bible study as the non-practicer just for stimulating conversation. I had a friend that went to Bible study. I went with him one time and had some really good conversation. But as the one time I've been in a church that I haven't been propositioned more than once to join the flock. So I understand that there is fellowship without, but the fact that you're walking into the church usually ends up parlaying into that you want to be there for other reasons than fellowship. So I do get your point there. Pip says Bible Belt, tax haven, same difference. And there's several churches for sale around here. I'm not saying it hasn't crossed my mind. I'm not saying that having a church spun up has not crossed my mind. So what are the qualifications? What are the Hunter says just wait until the congregation realizes you're a handyman. Does Jesus pay? Because he was a carpenter. He gets it. I bet Jesus wasn't building fucking shit for free. I don't know. Chris Dixon says, watch the Simpsons episode for more tips. Was there a Simpsons episode where they went to church? I don't remember that one. Must not have been in the first 15 seasons. Anyway, a little update on the property. Waiting on Jesus. Little update on the property. Right now we're in kind of holding pattern with the weather, waiting for this freeze, the frost, freeze cycle, moisture, tons of rain, and all of that to be done to finish getting our driveway in. Once the driveway's in, we can schedule getting the posts and roof put in, and then get rolling along on putting up that structure. But we're just kind of in a holding pattern since it doesn't make sense to put that driveway in right now and have it just be a disastrous mess. So just waiting to make our next move. I told you guys that we ordered a laptop and a screen for doing some more research and watching some our evening entertainment. That's working out really well. We went from using like a little Surface Pro, I don't know, what are those, like 14-inch, 12-inch, 14-inch monitors? I don't know. It's not very big. And upgraded to a laptop and then a 24-inch screen. Woo! It's like a big screen, guys. I never knew watching TV could be that fun. But been doing that and been watching some different stuff, some educational stuff, and then we're gonna start rolling in. We started looking at different design ideas that Corey has in mind for the finish of the house. So once we get the bones up, that how we want to proceed with that. So that's been fun. Worked a ton last week. Got a ton of work done on my new website. And that has actually been put up live on thelotsproject.com. I had some issues. I was messing around with some things on my own with my file manager in the back end of my hosting platform. And I fucked something up. And I thought I put it back to good, but it really wasn't good. And so I don't like to reach out to customer service, but in the 5 years or more that I've had this service, I think I've used it 3 or 4 times and I pay for it every month. So I reached out to customer service and he understood what I was trying to accomplish, didn't realize that I wanted it put back to original. And then when I requested it, get everything transferred over, he transferred everything over and did all the work that I wanted to do at the end. Now, so the site's up. The pages are all populated, almost all populated. I think all the pages except for one are done. There's going to be a ton of blog posts that are already some are already drafted. I think I have 7 already drafted. They just need to be uploaded or moved over and some things added to them and finalized before they're published. But new website with different sections for the podcast, the 2 podcasts I got going, this one and Director Detour. And then I'll also have a section for product reviews, starting again with those. Wipe the slate clean, and they're going to go up. They're going to go up new on there. Probably re-hit some of the ones that I had up before, and then go forward with the new items I have now to do that. And then also I have a resource section where I'm going to have beginner level resources for Bitcoin, for AI and automation, and podcasting. So I'm going to have it's three different sections, and just beginner resources, how to get started with Bitcoin, wallet guide, software wallet guide, what is a software wallet, different articles like that. AI and automation, as I'm diving into this, I think there's a real I think there's a need for people to understand the capabilities, how easy it is to get things accomplished, and some how-to guides and descriptions of different services, what they offer, and things like that. That'll be in the AI and automation. And then podcasting, how to get started, gear, hosting, things like that, articles about that, blog posts about that. And then eventually, when I get the free resources done, I'm going to put together some courses and have them available too. So, getting started podcasting, how to set up your host, and blah, 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 and all this. So if you want to check that out, you can check it out at thelotsproject.com. It's live now. Go take a look. Yes, I do know the banner ad has a spelling error. That is what it is at the moment. And when I get time, I might fix it, or I might not, because it makes sense. It fits. It really fits if you notice it, now that you're all going to be looking for it. Food Forest Farms is spelled Food Forest Fam, and that's what Brian considers all of his customers his family, so it makes sense, although it wasn't intentional. And thanks for a couple different people for noticing that right away. That was another thing that I didn't get to go through and proofread and edit the whole site before my hosting guy made it live, and I said, fuck it, I'll just do it. Pip says, you assume I can spell, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. So, new site, I put a ton of time into it. It's been consuming quite a bit, and it's also consumed the time this past week that on my new show format and template, it didn't get completed. So hopefully next week I hit that March goal of getting the new show format. Basically it's going to be the same but different, man. But weekly update on our stuff, what we got going on. I'm going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin first segment. I'm going to talk a little bit about AI first segment, and we'll do an open chat at the end. So we'll get a little bit more structured, and it'll be what it is. It'll be good. It'll still be good. Don't worry. So that's the website. That's up and going. We'll be getting, hopefully this week, I should be getting a bunch of Bitcoin blog posts up. The first round of, I think it's six blog posts will be up. Hopefully this week. They're all related to Bitcoin. Then I'm going to roll into getting a little bit of AI info up there, and then podcasting will be last. Then we'll roll through it again. So excited to have that up. Director Detour this week. Chris Dixon commented yesterday that last week's episodes were really good. They were. I really enjoyed last week's. Lance Psycho was a good chat for sure, and tons of great information last week in all three episodes. This week I got Doug Katz. That episode released this morning. He is the inventor of Nulu Knives, a new knife company for disabled folks. He's a disabled Army vet, West Point graduate, and designed a knife spun out of the Ulu knife. If you've ever shopped knives and knives, the indigenous the Eskimo knife. I think you can say Eskimo still. But the Ulu knife is an Inuit knife, and they took a cue from there and went a little farther with it. But it's for folks with upper body extremity issues, or not. It does work if you're not disabled also, but it just makes the pressure in the upper body easier. Doug's got an interesting story. He was in the Army, he went to West Point, and he tells his story. That is out right now. Thomas Wilson out on Wednesday. He's neurodivergent storyteller. Basically struggled through life with some neurodivergent tendencies, and ended up rolling it into a career and a side hustle at the moment, but hopefully a full-time business soon, helping folks and making a comfortable space for them to express themselves. You'll have to listen to that about Thomas Wilson. And then Friday, Tim Thomas. This is going to be a good one. I'm hoping that the editing goes smooth because we did have some technical difficulties. He's in Australia. We had some internet issues. We had some dropout issues, but hopefully I'm able to piece together a conversation that is worthy of what it was in person. But Tim is he's an ex-Australian Special Forces operator that has transitioned into helping folks with breath work, breathing for both relaxation and for productivity, mental clarity, all sorts of stuff. He has a app that's available called Breathwork in Bed. Basically, something you do when you lay down to go to sleep at night, and something to do right when you wake up in the morning, or anything throughout the day. He gets me to go through some breath work live on the recording. But what he's telling us, what he explains at the end of the interview, 100% accurate. The things he had me do and the things that he said it would do to me, he was definitely on point. And he's got a great mission. He's trying to help veterans at least handle the sleep side of their post-service issues, and also trying to help them with relaxation and stress relief and things like that through breath work. He's been meeting with Australian Parliament and all sorts of things. Great conversation. I actually had a follow up with him a week later. He was curious how the things that he asked me to do worked out, and I'll have to say I didn't get a chance to do it as thoroughly as I'd hoped, but the little bit that I was able to do it, was able to help him, and it helped me. It definitely worth a listen. So Tim Thomas on Friday, if you're interested in breath work and the things that can do to benefit you. So he was a great chat. So that wraps up my list. Chris Dixon taking off. Look forward to them. Have a great week to you. Have a great week to all. Chris Dixon, thanks for stopping. I appreciate it. Other than that, I withdrew my second monthly withdrawal from Ember. If you're not earning Bitcoin with Ember, the Ember Fund app, the link is in the video description, the audio description. You can roll down there, click on that, sign up with my referral code. I get a little extra Bitcoin every day if you do that, and then you can do the same. But pulled out another 70,000 sats. So right now, with 95 Bitcoin at 95,000 here on the ticker, we got probably $68 for month number 2. That what that involved was basically showing up in the morning, hitting the button to start a 24-hour timer, and then playing games with my earned Bitcoin and spitting out Bitcoin I can withdraw. First month, I withdrew 23,000 sats. Next month, I withdrew 70,000 sats, and we'll see what month 3 does. So Ember Fund down in the video description. Fold is on a roll. Fold is now being traded on NASDAQ. So they're a public company, Bitcoin-backed Bitcoin reward debit card, and now you can get on the waiting list for their credit card. But the Fold card is fantastic if you're not using that. For you Canadian folks that want to earn a little bit of extra Bitcoin with your app, you can check out Ember is available in Canada. but also Shake Pay would be a similar service as Fold and Strike and things like that. From what I understand, there's a link down there. That is not my link. That is, I believe it's Chris Dixon's Shake Pay link down there. I don't have one. I am not Canadian. So other than that, in the notes, you can find links to Blockstream Jade. You can get 10% off Blockstream Jade hardware wallet with code The Lots Project if you're looking to store all that Bitcoin you're now earning. Links to Director Detour. Oh, you got to get that Patreon link. That is one thing I did change about Director Detour when I got the website finished. Was I am sunsetting the Patreon page and moving it over to my own site. That was the intention before it all started, but the way it got spun up was super fast. I didn't have a chance to have the website done before I started the podcast, and so we're moving it after the fact. So that Patreon link down there, it's still there, but there will be nothing new posted there. So I appreciate anybody that checked that out, signed up for that while it was going on. And then, as always, you can check out Amazon Storefront to help support the show. If you start at the Amazon Storefront, amazon.com/shop/the Lots Project, and buy anything buy anything on the site after visiting there and clicking on one of my videos, I'll get a little credit for that. I'll earn a little bit of commission, and I appreciate it. It helps me do what I do here. And other than that, I got nothing. So anyway, I hope everybody had a good week, and you got a lot of big things coming up this week. Anybody got anything to talk about, you can drop it in the chat. I got a few minutes I can hang out, but that's my list. Cheers, Pip. Thanks for signing up for the full credit card waiting list. He says the waiting list number 24,493, and he's still waiting. That's a long line, man. That's a long line. So, all right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Temp's going to be up today. Going to get outside, record some videos. I'm way behind on my review videos just from shitty weather and jumping through hoops to try to record things. But going to be a nice day today. Get out and enjoy the weather and record some videos. Canadian Farmstead, have a great week, everyone. And I say the same. Hopefully everyone has a fantastic week. Thanks for stopping by. And make it a great week. And we will talk to you again next Monday.